Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Charlie Pankey, Sierra Rec Magazine, just with a little recreation update for the day. Today is May 6, 2025, and if you have been following the Sierra at all, you know today is Reservation Day. Today is the day that we are going to explore the national park system. We are going to hop online and we're going to try to get our day entry permits if we're wanting to visit Yosemite National Park during the peak reservation times of the year. Now, there's quite a bit of information out there today for you to find on Yosemite. .com, or you can go to Mariposa. We just got done talking to him. But here's what you need to know. It's reservations are $2. They're valid for 3 consecutive days. They do not cover your park entry fee. So you got to have a park entry fee once you get reservations. You get your reservations at Recreation.gov. I'm going to take you through the experience here in just a moment. They are required May 24th through 26th, Memorial Day weekend. June 15th through August 15th, every single day from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. And then again, August 30th through September 1st, Labor Day weekend, reservations required. Again, that 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. is for car reservations only. So if you are just driving in for the day, if you have a backpacking permit, if you have a hotel reservation or a reservation inside the park at one of the guest places to stay, lodges, etc., or if you're on a yard bus, which I'm going to talk about here in a minute, you don't need an additional reservation. Your reservation is only if you want to drive your car in on these days. Again, from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., which means if you show up at 2:30, you can just drive in the park, pay your entry fee, spend until 11 p.m. there that day and have an experience. Or if you're an early bird like me, you want to get there at 5 a.m., you can just drive in the park, pay your entry fee, etc. So those are some adjusted dates and times. And for this year, I've already kind of expressed my opinion. I think Yosemite still can do some work on reservation system, but they've given back so much that there's less dates that are required this year. The time window is been condensed, so we got a few more extra hours that we don't have to worry about. What I want to do today, something I've never done before, and I'm going to try to do is I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to walk you through a process of taking you through setting up my reservation, right? So let me go ahead and pick a window here. Never done this on the broadcast, so please forgive me a little bit. So here I am. I'm at Recreation.gov. I typed in Yosemite reservations and got the Yosemite National Park ticket entry. And on the page, there are some definitions and stuff, but you'll see it's pretty simple. You pick your date, right? Which is always the hardest thing out in advance. Like, how do I pick a date? So I'm going to open the calendar, and I know, for example, that I would like to take a look in the week of July. So let me just say I'm going to go on July 19th. Saturday time is good for me. I'd like it to be early morning. So I guess I could pick 8 a.m. this window here, although I would probably be the 6 a.m. time slot. Let me just pick the 8 a.m. That works for me. I can do 8 a.m. And I'll be coming in from the east side, so it doesn't have route or anything. But it's just my filter. And then I can just hit book now. And you can see there's a map down here, etc. But you just hit book now. You can just say, I want one day, one permit, close. All tickets have been released, so they have been released for that day. And then I request tickets. And if I was looking for something that's outside the window, you saw the August window, you can set probably should have covered the thing up there, but you got to log in, and then you've got a time. One thing you'll notice here, there's a window up here that says 15 minutes basically to finish this purchase. So it asks me for my information here, wants me to read reservation requirements, which you probably should go through. So you have arrival valid for 3 consecutive days, which means beginning on the day that you arrive, it's good for those 3-day windows. If you show up on the last day of your reservation's on the 9th, and you show up on the Monday, you don't get 3 additional days. It's only for that 3-day window of your reservation. So just be aware of that for peak hour. If you happen to show up at 4 a.m. on this day, you didn't need a reservation, but you have one. All right. So peak hours only. You have to be able to park by 11. All the entrances are covered, et cetera. So just read all the information, and then you'll see it's $2. You proceed to cart. It's good for early entry window, and that's it. And then I put my credit card information in and proceed to pay, and then I have a reservation. So if I continue this process forward, I can check out. I'm not going to do this on screen here, obviously, for you. I'll do it in a minute. But that is how you set a reservation up if you've never done that before at Recreation.gov. It's really kind of that simple. The hard part is that I'm going to go on that date. I'm a few months out, and so I kind of have to put a calendar. And so that's what you do. But let's talk about how you don't need one of these, okay? So I'm going to stop sharing my screen here real quick here. Hopefully that helps you a little bit in your thought process. So a couple of ways you do not need a reservation. I want you to think about this, okay? If you already have a backpacking permit, which you probably already have because those started 6 months ago. If you don't, you're trying to do a day plan when you get there, so you're going to need a reservation. But backpacking permit, don't need a reservation. It's already secured. If you're staying at any of the lodging inside the park, that means staying in Wawona at the cabins that we did in March there. You're staying at the Wani Hotel. You're staying at Curry Village. Any of the places in Yosemite Park that you're staying, cover your reservation, okay? You are taking the YART bus system. So you're parking out in Sonora or Mariposa or Oakhurst or Lee Vining, and you're taking the YART system into the park. You have to pay your entry fee still, but that covers your reservation. You don't need a reservation. Matter of fact, I highly recommend it if you're really stressed about the reservation system and you want to go on a specific day in July or August, then just plan on parking in Mariposa or Sonora and then hop on the yards. A great experience. They drive great. They get you to the park. You can get in the valley and you do all kinds of things for the valley there. So if you're coming from Lee Vining, they'll drop you off, I believe, on the way in Tuolumne Meadows, for example. So lots of different options there for you on that. The questions I keep seeing come up. Okay, well, if I'm just driving through, yes, you still need a permit. They did make some local exceptions this year. So if you live in these specific zip codes right on the borders of Yosemite National Park, generally they consider you a local. You're somebody that actually supports the park. You're probably employed there. You have so there's some drive opportunities without those permits there. But if you're from anywhere else, yes, you can't just drive through the park on peak reservation days. Now, again, look at the calendar. That doesn't include everything. In May, it's only Memorial Day weekend. In June, it's wide open. In July and August, you're going to need the reservation. And then Labor Day weekend, you're going to need it also. So, but you get late September, you want to go in fall, you're good. You're golden. You just buy your permit. If you have a pass, an annual pass like I do, obviously your gate entry fee is paid, but you still need a reservation. That's not your reservation. That just allows you to skip the $30 fee at the gate because you bought your pass for the year. Hopefully they answer your question. There's a lot of information. I am not the original source of this. I'm just trying to bring you a different viewpoint. I think the Yosemite system still can be tweaked. I still think that if you look at traffic, it's all Yosemite Valley. So if you want to use Tuolumne Meadows and just Tenaya Lake, then probably reservations are a little bit of overkill. But it is what it is. It does make a better experience for a lot of people who really do enjoy Yosemite. A couple of notes on this. One, I didn't know this until this year. If you don't have a reservation on Memorial Day weekend, for example, and you want to be in the park and experience something, Hetch Hetchy. You don't need a reservation in the park to go see Hetch Hetchy because it's outside the gate. The turnoffs before that. You can actually be on the north side of Yosemite and come in through the Sonora area, gateway right there, and go to Hetch Hetchy. You don't need a reservation. And you still pay your park entry fee, but it's a great place to go experience Yosemite National Park. It's one of the most underused, most beautiful places, especially early summer when the waterfalls are ripping up there. So great opportunity for backpackers into Area 2, but again, that doesn't matter. We just got off a podcast with Mariposa County that's coming up here in a couple of weeks. You want to check it out. She had some amazing tips for places to stay right outside the park in a hot tub and sauna and farm to fresh food and different things like that. Obviously, we stayed at Redwoods of Yosemite in March up in Wawona, which is another great place to stay, but that's right next to Fish Camp, which has the railroad experience, Oakhurst and Bass Lake, which has the YART system into the valley. And so there's all these different ways to experience and enjoy the park. So wherever you're at, we hope to see ours in your future and that your next adventure is your best. But if you're planning to go to Yosemite this summer, make sure you understand the reservation system. We hope what we did today was helpful, and we'll look forward to talking to you again next week. Have a good day.